Live with studios in Midland and Odessa, you're watching CBS7 First Alert News at 9 on the CW West Texas.
To finally hit it, it's definitely going to be emotional for sure.
Probably a lot of joy and just knowing that we did it.
100 miles, nearly 4 marathons. That's the distance 2 Midlanders will be running over the next 24 hours. Coming up in just a few minutes, we hear more about what inspired this run. Good evening and thanks for joining us here for CBS 7 News at 9 on the CW. And thanks for those of you joining us live on our CBS 7 YouTube page. I'm Jay Hendricks. We start tonight with election news. Kyle McCardle is currently the Assistant District Attorney for Midland County, and we told you yesterday that he announced that he's got his eyes on the big seat. Today we had a chance to talk in depth with him and take a look at his campaign. Originally from East Texas, McCardle moved to Midland with his wife of 13 years. He says the DA seat is what he has been working towards in his career. He wants to take aim at violent crime among young people and increase public trust in the district attorney's office. And in order to do this, McCardle says he is not afraid to shake things up.
I'm also not really beholden to traditions. There's a lot of, traditionally how prosecutors have done stuff since, the beginning of the legal field. And I'm always questioning why is it done that way? How can we do it better?
McCardle continued to say that he wants to make the courtroom more accessible to citizens, like using social media to keep the public in the loop and creating a citizens academy that would teach locals about what prosecutors do.
Law enforcement, prosecutors' offices across the country are facing kind of a loss of trust with the community, and Midland's no different. It's reestablishing that trust, and personally, I think it needs to be more of a proactive approach. There needs to be more transparency. We need to kind of be proactive about that and kind of answer the questions the community has before they have to ask them.
McCardle's announcement comes after current DA Lauren Nodolf chose not to seek re-election. He will run against Glenn Harwood. Be sure to tune in to CBS 7 News on Monday to hear about Harwood's campaign. And for more information on Kyle McCardle's district attorney run and what supporters have to say, we put it all up on our website. Just go to CBS7.com. We're also tracking crime now in Odessa, where police say a gas station was robbed early this morning. Odessa police say that at about 6 this morning, 60-year-old Curtis Henderson walked into the DK at Grandview and Murphy and threatened a victim with a knife and demanded cash. Henderson was charged with aggravated robbery and taken to the Ector County Jail. There is his shot right there. That is Henderson. This is an old mugshot, by the way. They have not updated his current one. Meanwhile, in Martin County, the sheriff, Brad Ingram, says they are looking for those responsible for damaging agriculture equipment. Take a look. Sheriff Ingram says early this morning, deputies began investigating a report of criminal mischief northeast of Stanton. On the scene, they found 2 John Deere tractors crashed into one another. Investigators also found that the cab windows on the tractors were broken out. However, Sheriff Ingram says they have recovered blood evidence and they do have a suspect. If you know any other details about this, you're urged to contact the sheriff's office. If you live near Cynthia Drive, east of Fairgrounds Road in Midland, listen up. Starting on Monday, Atmos Energy will be performing routine maintenance. Atmos says this maintenance is for the safe removal of natural gas. This process will result in a controlled flame and moderate noise, and Atmos Energy has alerted city staff, public officials, 911 operators, and emergency responders. Time now to talk your weather forecast. A big weekend coming up, a parade in downtown Odessa. We had some winds earlier this week. Chief Meteorologist Tom Teverteller joins us now. Tom, how does it look for our Friday into the weekend?
Well, we are going to see a little bit of wind in our forecast for the start of your weekend, but the Parade of Lights, looking okay. Today was the start of meteorological winter. Usually it happens at the first of the month in December and March and June and September, and it's because it usually reflects the temperature and precipitation cycles that we usually deal with in weather. And it's different than astronomical winter because that can fluctuate a little bit in the day when it starts, and this opens a window to colder weather in our forecast. Looks like it's going to hold off this coming week, but the latter part of December looks like some colder changes on the way. Midland right now, pretty quiet evening, 52 degrees there. 46 up towards the Hobbs area, and the lower 40s out towards Marfa. 42 there on the plateau as the wind has calmed down quite a bit, even over towards Guadalupe Mountains National Park. But more wind is on the way for the Parade of Lights. We're going to see kind of cool conditions in the forecast, so you might want to prepare for that, as overall seasonable temperatures not too bad for everything you need to do this weekend.
Happening now, two Midlanders are in the process of running 100 miles in 24 hours. That is the equivalent of nearly 4 marathons that they are running right now. Andy Gutierrez and Luciana Najera were supposed to run a race in Houston, but after it got canceled due to bad weather, the pair decided they still needed to find a way to complete their goal.
From that point, then we started scrambling, trying to figure out, are there other races that we can do? And just with the time frame that we had, there wasn't really a whole lot that was feasible. So we decided, our coach came up with this idea, and we thought, why not?
She just said, let's just do it here. And then it's like, well, so might as well, still have some fun.
Their journey to 100 miles takes them around most of the city of Midland. They will finish at Stonegate Church tomorrow night. In your education news, a campus administrator has been placed on leave in the Kermit Independent School District. That's according to a letter that was sent out to parents from the superintendent there. Legal allegations have been made against an administrator from a, quote, previous student disciplinary matter. Superintendent's letter says the district is conducting a thorough investigation and is committed to student safety. The Global Leadership Academy in Odessa has successfully helped bilingual students graduate from high school, effectively lowering ECISD's dropout rate. The Global Leadership Academy started 3 years ago, and it was proposed by the students. It was made to help bilingual students stay on track to graduate from high school on time and to improve attendance.
They ask, we want a student organization. We don't want a club. We want to be a line item in your budget. We want to stick around. And they were told yes. And since then, they have presented several times on initiatives that they want to bring into the campus.
Students are also able to learn how to build leadership skills and how to help the community. In addition, the Global Leadership Academy has helped reduce the dropout rate for bilingual students at Odessa High School. Whether it's cleaning up the streets of Midland or providing food drives for the community, the students at Rusk Elementary always love to give back to their community. And this year they're doing their first ever toy drive to give back to kids in the foster care system and to the homeless community in Midland. Just like any council, the Rusk Patriots Student Council meets to come up with ideas to benefit students and the school. They say they plan to give the toys to local kids with Buckner Midland, High Sky Children's Ranch, and CASA of West Texas. Throughout the year, they have other events like food drives, community cleanups, but for Christmas time, they decided to help those in need.
It really just goes because I realize how lucky I am, and some people take that for granted, and it's really easy to have that taken away and just let people just give to kids that need it.
The toy and coat drives end on the 15th of December. If you would like to drop off any toys or coats, you can drop them off at Rusk Elementary from 7:30 in the morning until 2:30 in the afternoon, Monday through Friday. If you're still looking for some Christmas decor, you're in luck. In fact, in just a few days, students at Bynum School will be putting on a Christmas-themed At the Corner event. Students there at Bynum have been preparing for this Christmas at the Corner event for the past few weeks, even learning woodworking and ceramics to make items that you can purchase. The event gives the students an opportunity to show off their work and highlight one part of their day. This is one of 3 At the Corner fundraisers Bynum School does, including the fall and spring events.
Our students are working all the time, and our staff is great with it too. Our students learn how to use a saw and use slip clay and painting, and so it's all individualized, so whatever the level is, that student's able to do something for the piece.
A lot of learning and effort goes into making the items that will be up for sale. There will be wreaths, ornaments, and more. There are even 2 special gifts this year, ceramic angels and a Texas-themed gift.
It's a pretty wide variety of things, and sometimes artwork by our students are also included in it. So it's definitely worth checking out, and it will give people a good opportunity to see what Bynum School is all about.
The event is on Tuesday from 2 to 6 p.m. and Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. All of the profits of this fundraiser go straight back into the school, and if you purchase one of the Angels, you'll even get to pick which school program those funds will benefit. The Midland Victims Coalition decorated a tree at the Midland County Centennial Library today. Take a look. The angel ornaments have names written on them of community members, loved ones that were victims of crimes. To the people that write those names, an event like this shows support for them and remembers their loved ones, and it's a priceless memory.
To have the people come and to honor and to partake in the ceremony, it speaks volumes. There's just no words to describe how much love and care there is and how much support is great here in Midland, Texas. We have so many organizations that if you need help, please reach out.
The city of Midland also wrote a proclamation to help memorialize the day. Now for a look at today's top headlines shown here in real time with real viewers on CBS7.com. You can see all of these stories and more by downloading our app or visiting our website at CBS7.com. Still ahead, we're not quite done talking about the holiday season. We've got an event you're going to want to put on your calendar. That's coming up next here on CBS 7 News at 9 on the CW. The UT Permian Basin Choir is getting ready for a special community concert, and that's going to be held next week. It's called the Holiday Chorale Gala. Lauren Clark, the Director of Choral Activities for UTPB, says it's a free event, and it is expected to provide a show that is unlike most in West Texas.
My students are excited, just as I am, to present something that's unique and something that's interesting, something that you won't see in this area. We really want to make this a tradition and do something like this every single year. Something that you can depend on, something that you can come back to every year and say, man, that was so much fun last year. I want to make that part of my holiday tradition.
This event, again, is completely free of charge, and you have two opportunities to attend next week. The first one will happen on Thursday, December 7th at 7:30 in the evening. It'll be held at the First Methodist Church of Midland. The next one is Saturday, December 9th at 5 p.m. That'll be at First Presbyterian Church in Odessa.
Well, the wind has calmed down for tonight. It's going to be back though on our forecast for your weekend. We'll talk about its impact on anything outdoors, including the Parade of Lights in Odessa, coming up next.
Now, from the CBS7 First Alert Weather Center, here's Chief Meteorologist Tom Tiefertiller.
Well, Starbright Village in Odessa opens up in about a week. Here's a little preview of what we're going to be looking at the entrance there. 52 degrees is what we're dealing with out at the park right now. For Starbright Village, again, looking at some pretty quiet conditions, and that's what we have over towards Midland, too, as temperatures right now are falling into the 50s. The wind, though, has calmed down quite a bit across the area, so good news there. But as this trough of low pressure continues to move across in the upper levels of the atmosphere, we're going to keep more in the way of windy conditions in our forecast. Gusts to 30 plus for tomorrow, as it's going to swing another front into the area, but not have a big impact on temperatures across the area. Most of the showers and thunder showers we had across southeast Texas exiting the state right now. Still a few around Jasper into Newton counties there and up towards Hemphill. We're looking at a couple of showers, thunder showers, but West Texas, high and dry conditions right now as we are dealing with pretty quiet weather. The breeze will take that out of there as we have this next week front about to drop through. So for tomorrow, it'll bring a little bit of wind in our forecast. The coldest air been staying off to the north and northeast. A little bit of a contrast here. 38 in Amarillo in comparison to 53 in Lubbock and 52 across the Permian Basin right now. So we're not going to get in on that, it looks like, anytime soon. The west winds are going to keep that off to the north and east, expecting the breeze to start to crank up a little bit more as we move in towards tomorrow afternoon. Gusts to 30 plus. Could cause a patch or two of blowing dust before things calm down a little bit after sunset. So it might be just a touch chilly out there at the Parade of Lights in downtown Odessa. Rest of tonight falling into the mid to lower 40s overnight tonight across the area, about 42 to 44 across the Permian Basin. Tomorrow, lower 60s on the way, but west winds will be gusty, up to 30 miles an hour in gusts. So your CBS 7 First Alert exclusive 10-day forecast showing you that we are going to be dealing with some breeze through the weekend in the afternoon hours, but overall milder temperatures are going to be the trend all the way through next week. So again, Parade of Lights in Odessa on Saturday, Starbright Village and the Odessa tree lighting on Thursday of next week, and then the Jingle Bell Jubilee Parade in Midland coming up a week from tomorrow. And they all won't look all that chilly.
And coming up, there's no football games to discuss, but there is a season for reflection. We'll check up on the Midland Legacy Rebels after the break.
Time now for CBS7 First Alert Sports.
This is the first Friday in a few months without football. One of the teams that went the furthest in the playoffs is the Midland Legacy Rebels. Many records were broken or are now well within reach. CBS 7's Jair Brooks Davis caught up with members of the team to reflect on that season. Jair?
Early on, the Midland Legacy Rebels were ranked number 18 in the state. They won District 2-6A outright for the first time since 2021, and they reached the regional round of playoffs for the first time since 2019.
Enjoyable, memorable, love.
This season's Rebels will leave a legacy of broken records. In the regional round against Allen, junior receiver Aiden Serrano became the second player in the school's history to have 1,000 or more receiving yards in a season. The first player, Texas Tech's Loic Fungi.
Well, I got a text from my mom. She's like, "Hey, you're almost to 1,000." I was like, "Oh, we got to do it." And then my dad, after the game, he's like, "You did it." I was like, "That's awesome."
When I saw him in 8th grade, I thought he was special. Serrano's a different athlete. He's just different. He's very physical when he runs the ball. I mean, sometimes I want him to get out of bounds. He won't. But I think that's just a competitor in him, you know. But he's got great hands, and he's a special football player.
Another breakout player is Damian Johnson. He started the season as a leader on defense, but by the end of the year, he was one of the best running backs the Rebels ever had.
I didn't really think that role was ever going to be my main role on the team, but it was I know that I could possibly be an impact at that time.
Damian's biggest impact was in the area round of playoffs against Euless Trinity when he rushed for 349 yards, 4 yards short of Cedric Benson's single-game record of 353.
To even be mentioned with somebody with that type of name in Texas football, high school football, it says a lot. And just knowing that I was 4 yards short, I felt like I had 4 yards in there somewhere.
Damian rushed for the game-tying touchdown against Euless before Jordan Williams caught the game-winning two-point conversion, sending the Rebels to the third round.
I always talk about that with my family still to this day. So it wasn't just me, it was our whole team, from the lowest to the highest on the team. It took everybody.
Purdue commit Marcos Davila cemented his own legacy as he surpassed Mikey Serrano for the most touchdown passes and most passing yards in school history.
It's super cool. I'm super blessed to be able to have those, and I know it might be out of reach for a while, but whoever ends up breaking that is probably going to be a good one. So, it's just super fun. Just getting to know that my name is set in the record books for a while.
When I saw him throw a ball when he's in the 7th grade, I knew something was different about him. But he's also worked at his craft. He's got to continue to do that. He's a big, strong kid. Now the world's going to get faster on him, and now he's going to have to really figure it out at the next level, and I think he will.
And as this football season has concluded with a lot of great memories, it always builds to the anticipation for the next season.
This place is different. It's special. Just the only thing I'd like to say is, like always, we love our kids. It's been a lot of fun, and we're going to try to run it back and get better.
Still ahead, Odessa Christian School is teaching young business owners. Hear all about their Entrepreneur Day coming up next here at 9. All right, before we go, Odessa Christian School had its Entrepreneur Day today. Take a look at this. Students from kindergarten through 7th grade at OCS each started up their own businesses making products to sell. Get them started early, Tom. They each chose prices and expenses that they would have. They also learned how to budget and how to save. Awful early, but it's good to get them started,
training.
right? Good training. They also learned how, once the day is over, I should say, how they could spend their money, and they could do so however they want. But this worked out just in time for Christmas, giving a little extra money, and what a great program.
I think some people were buying a few Christmas presents there.
You think they were? Yeah.
Looked like sales were brisk there. I saw some kid with his money out.
Showing a fist full of cash. Good for him. That's
anyway,
good.
You know, like the old men, shut up and take my money.
That's right,
okay?
take my money. That's right.
Anyway, though, as we look at the forecast, we're going to be seeing some great conditions, I think, for Parade of Lights. You want it cool for a Christmas parade. So we're going to have that tomorrow. The wind should calm down after about 5 o'clock or so. So good news there. A little bit of breeze hanging around on Sunday, but I don't think it's going to mess up your outdoor plans.
All right. Thanks for joining us here for CBS 7 First Alert News at 9 on the CW. More news coming up tonight at 10.